If you have a pet that has passed, watch for signs that they are connecting with you. And I'm not even going to say trying to connect with you. They are connecting with you, but possibly you have not seen or been watching for the signs. I'm going to give you a few examples. Like, I've been seeing this for years, well before I even entered this whole realm of discovering communication, whether it's with people or animals that have passed. But I've had four main animals in my life, a horse and three dogs. Now, we've had other dogs and cats in my family growing up, but they weren't like my dog or my horse. So I just wanted to share what I have seen. I'm actually having, I was so young when I had my horse that I never had signs, but I think I'm going to try to tune in to him because we were super bonded. But the dogs that I had that were mine, they lived between like 14 and 15, well, I'll say 12 to 15 years each. But as soon as my first dog passed, I was about 30 years old and I was pregnant. I got her when I was 15. She passed and I was walking across the hall. This was years ago. I had a home office in a bedroom, a spare bedroom, and I was walking across the hall to my bedroom during the day, and I saw her like right above my head in actually her image, but it was a little bit blurry, just like the way this background is blurry. It was definitely her. And I could also feel her still sitting by my feet under my desk, and that's what she used to do in her older years. The next dog was Rufus, and he was our family dog, so my kids basically grew up with him, but he passed. And a couple of things with him. That evening, we got back from a graduation, Jeff's graduation, and we were sitting in the kitchen. It was about midnight. And I can still remember the smell, but I said, guys, what smells in here? What smells like? Really? They were like, Mom, nothing. I'm like, yeah, can't you smell it? It lasted like a minute and a half. And it was a really foul odor. The kids didn't, no one else in the room smelled it but me. And a few days later, I realized that was Rufus around me getting my attention. So that happened. And then about a year after that, I had now waited 6 months and I got another dog, Zella, who I'll tell you about soon. And I remember going down to the mailbox. So now this is about a year later after Rufus had passed. And I looked down and there was this silver coin, and it was like a toy coin, and it had this bulldog on it, and on the back, or else on the collar on the coin, it said Rufus on it. Now, where would that have come from? That was amazing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Rufus. But I still didn't realize about, all this animal communication. It was just always around me. So I kind of watched for signs and believed them. Then fast forward to a year ago when Zella passed away, a little over a year ago. Jeff took me, was trying to keep me busy that weekend, and probably himself too, because it was so sad. But we were getting out of his car, and right before we did, so this was within the 24 hours that Zella had passed, again, this foul odor. And I'm like, what smells? Like, it smelled like there was rotten food in his car, and there wasn't, trust me. But it just this foul odor, and I thought, oh, maybe it's because we pulled up in this area, but it was a nice area. And then I realized a few minutes later, after I got out of the car and the valet took the car, that it was Zella saying she was around me. And then I've had other things with her too. And of course, because I am a professional animal communicator, I talk to her every day and watch for signs. Another thing that she did that within that first month was I went to bed one night. It was like 11:30 at night. I had turned all the lights out, but out here in the living area, I have some lights on timer, and so one of them was on. But I remember I closed my eyes and I heard her shake. Now she was 90 pounds. She's a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and you can when a dog like that shakes like they just got out of the bath, to shake the water off, or maybe for whatever reason they shake to fluff their fur. But it was that loud, and I heard it out there. And it was definitely that sound. There was nothing that could have been anything other than that. And that was her way of saying, hey, I'm out here, I'm around, and they want you to be happy. But I kind of just laid there in bed and went, wow, it was just amazing. And then another time, and she was all around me, but there was a sound that was like a scratching sound in the other bedroom across the living area from my bedroom. And I heard it and I'm like, that sounds like it would be Zella. And I'm like, no, it couldn't be. Even though I do this, I still always doubt and have to have, confirmation. But the next day I thought, oh, it must be a suitcase that fell out of the closet, or maybe a pillow fell off of the bed, something like that. And I got up the next morning and went in there and looked everywhere, and there was nothing. And I know that it was her. So if you think that this is something, it is something. And watch for signs for your pet. And I know that we're in deep mourning and sometimes shock when our pets pass. But if you can remember this video and watch for those signs from your pet, they're trying to say, I'm okay, I'm here, and they are here with you like the entire time. And if you've had a pet that was close to you that passed 16 years ago, talk to that pet and ask for a sign. They will show you one. One last sign that I did, but I think I mentioned it in another video. I'm like, okay, Zella, if you're really around me, and this was a few months after she had passed, but I was kind of like, not mad, but kind of like, why did she have to go, So, hang on. So I pushed the limit a little bit with the next one, like did a test, and I said, Zella, I'm going outside. If you are really around me, I want to see a Ridgeback outside. And there aren't many Ridgebacks around here where I live. And I did go outside and I'm like, see, nothing. And then as I walked about 30 seconds later, I looked way down this walkway and there was a Ridgeback. So I'm like, doggone, she is around. But these are things that we'll also see in a pet communication when I meet with people, and I'll pull out oh, well, your pet said this. And they go, oh my gosh, that did happen, or oh, I did see that. I didn't realize it was from my pet. But the point is, look for signs from your pet, whether they're even with you right now or had just previously passed, recently passed, or years ago. Your pet can still communicate with you. And watch for the signs. It's just amazing. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy that.